Leadership is not about the next election, it's about the next generation. Good evening and welcome. This is a special edition of Face the Nation in view of the upcoming general election, which is scheduled to be held on the 14th of November. The topic of discussion today is the road to elections 2024. Joining us this evening on the show are Professor Vijaya Kumar, representing the National People's Power, Dr. Mahim Mendis, representing the Samajana Balavegya, President's Council Srinath Perera from the National People's Party, as well as Dr. Ajantha Perera, contesting from an independent political party from the Colombo district at the upcoming polls. To pose questions from our panelists this evening, on to my immediate right is Newsfirst, Consultant Director at Newsfirst, as well as Shihar Raniz, who is an independent journalist. So let's get the ball rolling today with Professor Vijaya Kumar, representing the NPP. He's also a member of the executive committee of the party as well. Professor Vijaya Kumar, right now there is much talk about within the political circles, political fora, how experienced individuals should be to contest the upcoming polls. Now, this is a sentiment that is being expressed very vividly by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe as well. Now, you are 82 years old, but you are not on the list. Why is that? Experience doesn't count?
Well, I think we are coming to the end of our lives, no? I don't think we are as active as we used to be. So we should allow younger people to come up.
So one of the allegations leveled at the National People's Power is the fact that many of those who are contesting the upcoming elections are very young and immature. And the SJB and other political parties have been saying that they have the best teams to run the country. As such, they should be given the government to run. What do you have to say about that, Professor Kumar?
First of all, young, is a subjective thing, right? But subjective thing. But when you talk of immature, that's subjective. So I mean, people can decide who is immature and who is not, who is mature. But we believe that in our team, most of the people have matured. If they may not, many of them are professionally qualified. Many of them have spent several years in politics, so they are very well qualified. And if you talk of experience, actually we are proud to say that we are the only party that has no experience in robbing, in taking bribes, or in corruption.
That is probably because you all were not in government.
Oh,
yet,
we were in government. We had a minister when some time ago, I think. We had only one, I think, President was a minister under Chandrika's government. And there
Mahinda Rajapaksa's government.
Yeah,
Mahinda Rajapaksa's government.
Not Chandrika's government.
Yes.
And there are no allegations at all about it.
So just getting into nuts and bolts of what we are discussing today, road to elections 2024, Professor Vijaya Kumar, I just want to understand your president, the president of Sri Lanka, made a lot of promises at political stages ahead of the presidential elections 2024. Now he is the president. Has he realized the promises that he made at political fora is not being implemented now, and as such it's a difficult task to say something, and when it comes to implementation it's a far-fetched goal at the end of the day?
That's not true. First of all, we do not have a parliament in session. If we want to do anything, we have to do it through a parliament. So that's why we are having a parliamentary election, because before this president election there was a parliament which consisted of 135 people, 135, isn't it, who raised their hand for anything that Ranil Wickremesinghe did, although many of them professed to be left-wing. They allowed Ranil Wickremesinghe to establish a neoliberal government in this country, and many of the laws that he has passed, he has tried very hard to prevent it ever being changed. So we have changed, although J.R. Jayawarna cynically calls the Democratic Socialist Party, we are neither democratic nor socialist under Ranil. It was a neoliberal government that he had. So we have not we don't have parliament, so you have to have a parliament to pass these laws. Secondly, in 1 month, what do you expect to do? We have made a lot of promises. We have an election. Our president is going around to all these stages. We are also very active canvassing. So we have to do something. We have to have some time. We have 3 ministers, each of whom hold about how many? If as promised, it will be about 7 ministries each. After the new cabinet is formed, it will be divided. Each ministry will divide to 7 people. Whereas in who is this? If it was a Mahim government, each minister would be doing very little. So it will be 10 people.
Yeah, but Vijaya Kumar,
so they have no time even to carry out the normal work in the ministries. For example, yesterday Harini came to Kandy and she was saying her main job is to sign leave chits, overseas leave chits for and the education ministry, overseas leave chits for university lecturers.
So are you trying to tell me, Professor Vijaya Kumar, you already know what the task at hand
we know,
was,
but you are being extremely short-sighted to expect anything to happen in 1 month, right? You should give us some time.
So, Professor Vijaya Kumar, if you look at the fuel price formula, because that was something that was discussed very heavily at the political stage. There were many instances in which members of the NPP said that the fuel prices would be reduced drastically. Now, we've seen 2 cycles. That is, on the 1st of October, we saw 1 cycle of the fuel prices coming into play, and then we saw on the 1st of November the fuel prices coming into play. But any of these instances, we did not see the prices coming down drastically as told at political stages by the NPP. Why is that?
Can you wait till the new cabinet is formed? Then you can ask me the same question.
No,
because at the moment,
it's not about me waiting, Professor Vijaya Kumar, it's about the people. At the end of the day.
They will get it after the new cabinet is formed, because at the moment they have no time to look into this. And if you look at, there's a formula which they are using that has to be changed. So it has not been changed, has it?
So why is that formula not being changed? Because it doesn't take rocket science to change a formula when it comes to mathematical practices.
You have to consider various factors. I mean, you have to work out a formula. No, it's not that easy, and you have to discuss it. We don't do anything autocratically. No, we have to discuss it among certain people and come to a solution, because you can't just put a formula and then next month say, oh, it went wrong, we have to change the formula again. It has to be.
But it happened, Professor, because last month during the cabinet press briefing, Minister Vijaya said we are not using the formula, whereas yesterday he admitted that we are using the formula. So it's totally contradictory.
Okay, you have to ask him about that, but I think we are using the formula.
And that you say, Professor Vijaya Kumar, you are coming from a democratic party.
Yeah.
You are an executive committee member of the NPP.
Yeah.
And I don't understand when you say you don't know. I don't see any democracy within the party.
I didn't say I didn't. Did I say I don't know?
Yeah, you said you have to wait until a cabinet is formed.
That I told you, because at the moment, all of us are spending our time in the field. We are not doing anything. Even the so-called ministers, they rush there and sign some things. They have
then why was a sudden election called?
Because we can't live with that 135 people who would have. We have to actually run the government. With that, do you really realistically think that with that MPs you could run a government? Do you think if for instance, we don't get a majority this time, we can run a government?
Professor Vijaya Kumar, the most important decisions for any government or any president is the first 100 days in governance. And already 46 days have lapsed since President Kumar Dissanayake has taken oaths as a president of the country. So people are waiting to see some magic at the end of the day. Is that magic being created? On the 14th of November, do you think that the popularity that the NPP gained at the last presidential election is now slowly fading away?
No, absolutely no. But also you have to. We have a peculiar system. We have a president, parliament, all that. So if you are counting 100 days, you have to count it from the November 14, not from October, not the previous election.
Right. Thanks a lot, Professor Vijaya Kumar, Executive Committee member of the NPP. We, of course, will grill you further, Professor Vijaya Kumar, as the show goes along, because now you all are in government and you are answerable to most of the problems that the people are faced with at present. I now move my attention towards Dr. Mahim Mendis from the SJB. Dr. Mendis is a national list candidate from the SJB as well. Dr. Mendis, now we see the opposition slogan right now. If you speak to any opposition party right now, what they're saying is they want to be in a strong opposition. They want to be part of a strong opposition, henceforth they have to be voted into parliament as well. So most of the opposition parties that we speak to have already accepted defeat at the 14th November elections. Has your party also accepted defeat at the 14th November elections already?
Absolutely not. In the case of this SJB, which has a very, very formidable support base, very clearly proved. We have a representative group of people. You see, all the communities have endorsed us. Though we lost this election, we are the party that commands respect from all the communities, whether it be the north, whether it be in the central province, whether it be in the south. We have a very good representative community backing us, and we have not been wiped out. And we certainly are not a party that will talk in terms of defeat. We will fight to the end, and we believe not in a strong opposition right now. We believe in a strong government. The power of the legislature to be in the hands of the SJB. Nothing more, nothing less. We want power of the legislature in the hands of the SJB.
So, Dr. Mendis, let's say hypothetically, on the 14th of November, people give you all a majority at the elections on the 14th, and you all are able to form a government. We've seen such mixes. Example, the president coming from one political party, the prime minister coming from another political party. This has been a disaster for Sri Lanka. The best example is 2001, when Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumar was the president, Ranil Wickremesinghe was the prime minister. Total disaster. 3 years down the line, we saw the manner in which how Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumar took over several ministries. 2015, Maithripala Sirisena was from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Ranil Wickremesinghe was the Prime Minister. He was from the United National Party. Total disaster. There was a 52-day government in 2018. Then it led to the Easter Sunday bombings in 2019 as well, on the 21st of April. Total chaos, total destruction, total tragedy in the country. Don't you think this is going to befall Sri Lanka once again?
Very clearly, we have a leadership that is inspired by the highest principles of democracy. Sajith Premadasa is a leader with credibility with regard to that factor. We always believe in a people's mandate. Even if we were accused of not grabbing power, like the way Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe grabbed power without a mandate. We are not a party that has a reputation with a leader trying to grab power. We believe in the people's mandate, and we also believe in principled cooperation with the government, that is the president, with regard to policies that are compatible with the public interest. There is no doubt about that. We are a party that wishes the very best for the NPP government. We are not a party that is going to unduly undermine the mandate given to Mr. Anura Kumara Dissanayake. We are a social democratic party, and some of the things that Mr. Anura Kumara Dissanayake talked about, well, are not unharmonious with what we believe in. We believe in redistribution of wealth. We believe in a strong private sector to generate wealth. There are many things that we have in common.
But most of the times, Dr. Mendis, you will have to work with, in the event you all form a government, you all will have to work with President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. But the working relationship between Anura Kumara Dissanayake and Sajith Premadasa now is not that great, because Anura Kumara Dissanayake is asking for a majority in parliament for the NPP so he can revamp the country and take the country on the right track in terms of what he says is a corrupt state of governance in Sri Lanka at the moment. And your party is saying that you all are willing to work with the NPP, but based on the statements that you're making at political fora, I don't see any synergies between the two political parties to work together. and iron out their differences even if you are elected to power?
Right now, we are fighting for power in the legislature.
So that doesn't matter. So even if you criticize any political parties, it doesn't matter.
We believe in a strong culture of constructive, democratic dissent and criticism. Obviously, we engage in a debate right now, but when a government is elected, we obviously would want to cooperate where cooperation is possible.
Yeah, but we've seen,
but
Dr. Mendis, we've seen in the past, it has not worked in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
What makes you think that it's going to work in Sri Lanka this time around?
Yes, that is because it's all a problem connected with political personalities. We know that Mr. Wickramasinghe could not work with Mr. Maithripala Sirisena. He is not a man. Mr. Wickramasinghe has proved beyond reasonable doubt that he has no respect for democratic principles, even within the United National Party. He's not a man who ever believed in internal democracy. He never believed in dissent even within his own party.
Right.
So, we are talking about a cultured political leadership in Mrs. Sajith Premadasa.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Mahim Mendis, representing the SJB. I now move my attention towards President's Counsel Srinath Perera from the National People's Party. Mr. Perera, there are 690 nomination lists as far as these elections are concerned. What makes you think that you all can make the cut in terms of the 196 members who would be elected by the people of Sri Lanka on the 14th of November?
First, let me thank you and your organization for having given me this opportunity to express my views. Answering your question, you'll permit me to say this, that today a lot of people are saying that 76 years of right-wing democratic rule has destroyed this country. Let me start at that point. I heard Honorable the Prime Minister making the same utterance about 3 or 4 days ago in public. Can I say this with your permission, that that's an absolutely incorrect statement that is being made either knowingly or either without knowing what they are talking about, or knowing what it is, they are trying to mislead the people. Why I say so is, for 76 years, since we got freedom, independence, it's not correct to say that our leaders have led this country astray. That's absolutely wrong. The right-wing governments from 1948 up to about, let's say, 1976, 77, they have done a great job in this country. I tell you, I'm here today thanks to the free education system that was introduced by C.W.W. Kannangara. I come from a poor family. I come from a family which was suppressed. Today I'm at the highest level in society. What gave me the opportunity? One, I must say, it's my mother who sacrificed everything and educated us. But in addition to that, she would not have been able to do anything except for C.W.W. Kannangara's free education. The free health service, that's something that was given to us by our leaders who led this country maybe 50, 60 years ago. The decline started maybe 45 to 50 years ago. The right wing destroyed the right wing. And that's how today we are under a left-wing government. I'm not against.
You're talking about Srinath, you're talking about the good that happened
Absolutely.
between 1940 and 1977.
Absolutely.
But there are also bad that happened during this period. I can name a few. One is the single-only policy that was brought forward by the SWRD Bandaranaike administration.
I agree.
That destroyed the country's education system. And today, if you speak to the graduates who are getting out of universities, they can't even speak proper English. The reason being the SWRD Bandaranaike single-only policy that took place. In 1970s, we saw Cinema Bandaranaike took the country to such a state where people were in dire straits in terms of finding a meal. As a result of that, 1977, SWRD Bandaranaike was able to get a resounding victory.
J.R.
Jayawarden was able to get a resounding victory at the 1977 election. So there has been many issues that has taken place and that has plagued the country between 1948 and 2024 as we speak.
I agree fully with what you said in relation to the first matter. In 1956, I think Mr. S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike, for purposes of grabbing power, he brought the Sinhala only issue.
Yeah, so everything was not hunky-dory at that time.
No. I think I have been misunderstood. I didn't say that every little thing that they did was right. But when you look at it,
but you said the real decline came after 1977.
I agree. I adjust myself to that extent. But as far as the second allegation you mean, I have never voted for the SLFP. But I can say you're right. There was a time when there were shortages in the country. That is during Honorable Mrs. Srinath Bandaranaike period, where she was backed up by the leftist, the Sama Samajis and the Communist Party. But in my view, I differ with you on the second issue, because I think if the policies that were introduced by, I never voted for her. For one thing, I didn't have a vote at that time. At the time she was elected. But if those policies were followed, I'm 100% sure we would have been a better nation than what we are today. So I 100% agree. I surrender myself, and I agree with what you said on the first issue.
So just to understand, Srinath, now you spoke about how formidable it's going to be at the next election, and you all are looking at 7 districts, if I'm not mistaken, at the upcoming elections. How many seats are you all looking at securing at the upcoming elections?
You're pushing me to the corner, but we are looking at the maximum number of.
What is maximum? When you mean maximum?
Maybe.
Maximum means 196.
We can't get 196.
So how much are you looking at?
Maybe if the voters can give us 3 to 4 good people in Parliament, I tell you, we will not accept any positions or portfolios from anyone. We will not join hands with any of the parties, whether they are the governing party or otherwise, but we give an assurance to the people of this country that we will sit in the opposition, and whatever good things that are done by whichever government, I don't know. Mahim says that they are going to form the government. I don't know. I have a question mark. But whichever government that is in power, I assure you, without looking at political advantage, we will support them, whoever it is, with both hands.
So you say,
but if they do something which is destructive to the country, with the same strength within ourselves, we will oppose it.
So,
I assure you.
Srinath, you say that Dr. Mendis is talking about the SJB forming a government, and then you say there is a big question mark there. Does that mean that the NPP is going to form a government on the 14th of November?
In my view, I'm being very open about it. In my view, I feel the NPP will get the majority at the next election. But can I have one reservation? I appeal to the people not to give them too much of power in the legislature that is going to be elected next. Because if you do that, that will be the most detrimental thing that the voters of this country will ever do.
Thank you very much, President Council Srinath Perera from the National People's Power. From the National People's Party, I now move my attention towards Dr. Ajantha Perera.
We are the right-wing National People's Party.
From the true National People's Party, NPP. Right. Dr. Ajantha Perera from an independent political party contesting at the upcoming elections. Dr. Ajantha, just to understand, you contested a presidential election in 2019 when Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Sajid Premadasa were the front runners at the polls. Just for me to understand, how much of polls did you vote as an individual from across the country?
My total count was 27,575. I came 7th out of 35 people.
Right. So let's look at the numbers now, and let's look at your chances to secure a seat in the Colombo district. At least you have to garner 69,000 votes in order to secure a seat in the Colombo district if you are to look at very prospectively at the upcoming elections. With 27,000 votes gained in 2019, do you think that you can make it?
Yes, why not? If the people vote wisely, I will be there. I mean, it's a matter of what people want. You see, this country is down the drain. I mean, to be very frank with you, let me go back to what the professor was saying about the NPP. Now, NPP is only, he's saying 40-some days in power.
45 days.
45 days in power. Did they not make a plan when they were so sure they were going to be in government? Did they not have a plan for 100 days or even 50 days? Did they not plan it ahead? I mean, they know that we are in a mess, and therefore their first thing, their priority should have been with Mr. Anurukumara Dissanayake. How am I going to take this country forwards? I mean, I know on stage they were fighting with Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajith Premadasa on various issues. But he knew very well when he becomes the president, there's a task ahead of him. Now, even the simple thing of Mr. Vijaya saying that he does not know about the formula. Now, I was in the Consumer Affairs Authority, which was actually taking decisions on the formula aspects. I mean, this is very easy to understand formula, what they have on essential goods. So my biggest fear, now when he was talking, there was more fear added to me. My fear is, where are they going to take the country? I mean, we are a nation that needs to develop economically. We need to think ahead and make sure that every day we spend is in taking the country forward. I mean, why are they spending so much time on the platform asking people to vote? I mean, if they are performing now so well, people will vote for them. They don't have to go around the streets and scream. I mean, okay, let me as an independent, maybe I need to go around the country and scream. But they don't need to, because people have trusted them, given them so much power. And now they're still going around and asking for more votes. What's this silly thing?
Well, but we pose these questions to Professor Vijay Kumar as the show goes along. But
no,
just to understand
the answer to what you are asking,
policy of
answering what
party.
You are saying.
Can you all secure a vote at the upcoming election?
Okay, it's like this. People know me now. Ajantha Perera is not a new name for the country. Ajantha Perera is not a new name for Colombo. I have worked very hard in this country when there were issues on environmental issues in this country. I have put forward national programs and made sure today this country is a clean country. I brought forward the recycling program. When no one was looking at the Express Pearl disaster, when no one was working on that Express Pearl disaster, I put forward a case in the Supreme Court. Today that case is running. And if we win, we get $6.4 billion US as compensation. So what I'm saying is this: look at the capability of the people. Don't look at parties. Who wants to look at parties? The people should look at people.
Right.
And
so Dr. Ajantha Perera, just to understand, now you were very active during the Aragalaya.
Yeah.
And we saw your name cropping up. You have been organizing many pocket meetings just prior to the Aragalaya as well, and you were very active. But you are not affiliated to any political parties that came out of the Aragalaya, like the People's Struggle Alliance, for an example. We don't see you affiliated with that political party.
No, because
why is that?
As you remember, I contested under UNP in the 2020 election. And thereafter came Mr. Rajapaksa, became the president. When he became the president, he made so many mistakes, and we don't need to go back on it. Then I joined the Aragalaya. When I joined the Aragalaya, I pledged that I would be independent. I would not be part of UNP. Even when Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe became the president of this country, and I was to be given the advisor on climate change issues, because I have been working with him on those issues. But I never turned back. I never went back to the UNP because I have already become an independent.
But you were thinking at that time.
Sorry?
But you were thinking to pledge your support to Ranil Wickremesinghe.
No, I was not thinking anything because basically I was doing environmental work anyway outside.
And because I remember, Dr. Ajantha, the good thing is being a journalist joggles your memory back to what individuals come and say on the show. So I recollect just a year after the 2020 presidential elections, we had you on the show and I asked you a question about you were an independent candidate at that time. Why did you support the UNP at the upcoming elections, at the last elections in 2020? And then you said that you thought Ranil Wickremesinghe was the right direction that the country should take at that time.
In the 2020,
but now after some time, now you've decided that that is not politically aligned with what you want to do.
No, 2020 election, I did contest under the umbrella of UNP.
Yeah, because the problem is, Dr. Ajantha.
But thereafter, after the struggle, did I go back
but Dr. Ajantha, the biggest problem right now plaguing this country is crossovers made by political parties, even in parliament. This is a big problem. They are changing their political parties.
So did I change over? Did I switch over?
More faster than changing their clothes.
I know.
That's
but
the biggest problem. So I'm trying to understand. Now, in 2019, you were an independent candidate. 2020, you were with the UNP. Now, 2024. You are contesting in an independent.
22 was the year during the struggle. I became an independent person supporting the Aragalaya, and thereafter I never joined any political party. And
so how many seats do you think that you will get at the
we are only contesting from Colombo.
So how many seats do you think?
If we get 2 seats, even if we get 2 seats, this is good. Because you see, the thing
is... So what is the change that you envisage to achieve in Parliament with these 2 seats?
First and foremost, economic growth. That is the thing that is set in my heart. I am the one who has been working very hard on this, for example, National Paper Corporation, which can bring so much money to us. This has been closed for a long time. Nothing is coming.
We will talk about all this, Dr. Ajantha, as the show goes along, because I want to open the floor for questions from our panelists as well. So it's understood that you want to make the economic revival in the country.
I mean, that's the only thing we need. That is the most important thing we need.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that in a minute because you spoke about it. So I open the floor for questions from our panelists. On to my immediate right is Niresh Thambi, Consultant Director at Newsfirst. On to my immediate left is Shihar Raniz. Niresh, with your permission, can we switch to Shihar?
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you, Shamir. Professor, I want to start with you. The key questions, key question among the voters and also the other parties is about the maturity and the experience of the people, right? Who are contesting under in PP, right? Whether they can basically handle the issue, in front of us. The main issue is the economy, and you need to do a lot. And we saw how the last 2 years were. How concerned are you? How confident are you about them? The people who are coming to the parliament from NPP?
Short answer is very confident. There is no reason to.
What makes you that much confident?
They are all people who have a lot of political thinking, right? They are not people who just be picked up from the street. They have had years of political experience. That is one point. Second point, if you look at the history of Sri Lanka, you will find that people don't need this type of experience, political experience, to govern properly. Our best example is Perera Sundaram. Perera Sundaram came from nowhere, became the minister in the state council, and probably he has passed most of the laws that are, I don't know, Srinath, you probably know, all the welfare laws that we have in this country today. Even the free medical service came from the original laws that he passed. So you don't need experience. That you get experience on the job. That's what happens.
During that time, the others were.
So you are telling me that nobody can start working then.
I'm not saying that. But you are going to
private sector rule maybe.
You are going to see at least 100 new faces in NPP, right? So.
I hope it's more than that. least
That's what I'm saying.
118.
At least.
Yeah, but what Srihar is trying to imply is, Professor Vijay Kumar, taking it on a very serious note. If you look at the camp of the NPP, you have individuals in the caliber of Harin Amarasuri, who was a member of parliament in the last parliament. You have Vijaya, you have K.D. Lalkanta, Nalindra Jayatis, Bimal Ratnayaka, Surin Handuneti, and just probably 2 to 3 others more who have been in the last, or who have been occupying the parliamentary seat in the JVP at that time. Now you all have transformed, you all are now the NPP. But who do you have to name as to individuals who have been successful in their entrepreneurship or in their careers, who is going to guide the country in the future? Tell us a few names. Let's use your saying 100 people, over 100 people would be elected. Just off the cuff, just tell me 5 names that comes to your mind about good people who could lead the country, because your cabinet is going to be 25 members. I'm not going to ask you to name all 25, but I'm just going to ask you to just name 5 people who have the experience.
All the people in our national list are all professionals who are, apart from those people who were named, who have had experience. So that we have people who have experience in industry, who have experience as lawyers, as doctors, and before all these people have been working. Now these policy documents are not something that came overnight. We have been working on this policy document for more than 2 years.
Yeah, but Professor Jacob, now you are saying you have been working on a policy document for 2 years, but when Srihar asked you a question about the fuel price formula, you didn't even have an answer to that.
Well, the policy document doesn't have anything about fuel price. I gave an answer.
If you are going to be in government, don't you have to look at all these aspects?
He's trying to create a problem between me and Vijaya. That's why I said if it is Vijaya, you have to ask him.
No, that's not the intention at all.
What I told you was, Professor, there were contradictory
what I say is that now for instance, here my gentleman on my left says that he's going to form the government. These are real threats to our being able to run the government. So we have to.
So name 5 people who you think.
I named one now. I can name. Now we have to think in terms of one of the biggest problems we are having. I'm involved in that, and that is the problems of the estate workers. You are a team man, no? You believe that estate workers are properly treated?
If I was in your shoes today and you were in my shoes today, I would really answer that question, Professor Yoko. But today the roles have changed. I'm asking the question that you're supposed to answer.
But I am telling you, they are not being paid a decent salary. The private sector has destroyed the health system there. The education, they don't have any opportunities. Now, for instance, the salary given is 1,700. According to the Salaries and Wages Board, law, you can't reduce that. They are paying them 1,350 and temporary people 910,000 rupees. They're all against all the rules, and the trade unions are doing nothing about it. So we have got a person in Kandy called Dr. Siva Prakasam, whom we are promoting. He's a development sociologist. He's number 2. Then you want
3 more. Huh? 3 more.
3 more. Well, we have in. The thing is this, if you told me to prepare and come, I would have checked the names.
So Professor Kumar, if
you give me a list, I can name.
No, I don't want to give you a list because you're in the executive committee of the NPP. It's not our job to give you a list to name who you want to be appointed.
There are
but Professor Kumar, now even look at the statement that was made by
the people who appeared in the economic team. People who appeared in the economic team.
So let's leave that aside for a moment because now we know that you cannot answer as well. So anyway,
I tell you. You got a thing with our economic team, 3 people.
Yes.
All of them are well qualified people. Right?
But all 3 are not contesting the upcoming elections.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
I know at least 2 are contesting.
Who is the 2 from the economic council is contesting?
Our friend, the main person.
They're on the national list.
Yeah, one is no national list. There are 2.
Srinath is from the national list, not contesting.
Contesting in Gampa. With our The leader of the list.
No, I don't want to keep,
My
keep a
memory is
tab
not so
on.
good.
I don't want to keep a tab on your list. No, anyway, about K.D. Lalkantha's statement recently on a candidate from the SJB, who a female candidate from the SJB, saying that he also got emotions rousing when he saw that picture in question. Do you condone statements like that coming from?
I have actually spoken to him about it and condemned the statement. I have told him. I met him at the Candy meeting last week. I told him you are doing stupid things. There is a lot of women are very angry about this. You should not be doing this.
And what was his response like?
His response, he just forget about it like that.
Is that the the attitude of the NPP
I think he just says things that comes to his mind, I think.
But is that the attitude of the NPP members?
No, we have lots of members. We have a variety of members with various.
Dr. Ajantha, Doctor, now, if you see the country, we have more than 51% of women, right? But it does not reflect in the politics, right? Whether it's parliament, provincial council, local council, right? It doesn't reflect, right? How do you see this and why is it?
Well, at the moment, I mean, what I have done in my own independent group is that I have 16 out of the 21, 16 are all women. See,
it's because you are leading the party, right?
Okay. So at the same time, I need to say this. I mean, basically, maybe this country has gone downwards because we have not brought in as many good women as possible into the parliament. We need, when you say women, it should not be just a woman. It should be someone who is capable of basically, in various fields to enhance the decisions that are taken by the parliament itself. Now, for example, I'm very proud that I am a mother, and I'm very proud that I have a family, because that gives you a tremendous amount of experience in life. When you are a mother and when you are running a family, you know the day-to-day needs of the family, and that gives you the ability to think of the country as well. For example, the NPP should right now understand that people in this country want to have 3 meals a day. This is the greatest desire that they have, 3 meals a day. Then their children must have good education. You see, NPP is saying that they want all the schools to be government schools. And the foreign schools or the international schools, they're going to monitor. How are they going to monitor? If people want to send their children to do Cambridge and then go abroad to study, let it happen.
Prof. Kumar, has that been said by the NPP?
Yes, it has been said by, and I've been monitoring that.
By whom?
By Mr. Andrew Kumar Disanayake himself. He said that they are going to monitor the international colleges.
Out of the 1,000 odd schools in the country, everybody wants to get to 29 schools. Right? Not all the other schools are, nobody wants to get in. So what our policy is to improve those schools. Theoretically, I mean, I don't know whether they have the money to do that, so that people can choose more government schools. At the same time,
we've heard that from successive governments.
No, the government that will do something, right? And
that's what each government says.
Secondly, our policy about private education is that it is already established. We are not going to do anything about it, but we are a little careful about as far as medical.
I think little bit we are deviating from doctor. But my concern was, look, now in NPP they have 12.8% of the candidates are women, whereas in SJB it's only 5.4%, 16 out of 291, and they are 36 out of 291. Why these good women, according to you, your good women are not coming to politics?
Well, they're not choosing them. Simple as that. The leaders of these parties are not choosing the women. I mean, both of them, basically Sajid as well as Mr. Andrew Kumar, should have chosen more women to be in the list.
Well, let's not forget, Dr. Ajantha, Sri Lanka had the first female prime minister in the world. Sri Lanka had the first female president.
You see,
we have the prime minister a female as well, and the NPP has already promised and pledged she's going to continue as the Prime Minister if they are able to form a government as well. So these are progressive steps, isn't it?
They are progressive in small steps. These are small steps. These are not big steps. Because what I believe is if the leader decides that so many women should be in a list, then it will happen and they will look for those women. But they don't do that. I think all what you do in a list is you're trying to please people. Basically people who have supported the party, they put forward them in the list. So women probably don't get an opportunity. So in my capacity, in what I can do, in my group, I have put 16 women. And I would not say they are the top professionals, but they are people who are capable of doing their work, and they are people who are leaders.
So Dr. Mendis, when we're speaking about women, we saw the injustice that was done to Damita Beratna, artist and actress, who was put in the Ratnapura district list, nomination list initially, and her name was tipexed. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this. Why does things like that happen within the SJB camp? Is that ethical? Yesterday we had Anuradha Vimal Ratna on the show representing the SJB, and what he said was he disagrees with what happened in the party in terms of Damita Beratna. Do you share the same sentiment?
Well, if Damita Beratna was promised a place in the list in the Ratnapura district, she should have been given. And we strongly, as fellow candidates, and as in my case, I'm also a member of the working committee, we strongly believe in ethics in governance.
So who took that decision? Isn't it the party leader and the general secretary who is responsible for matters of that sort?
Well, at the end of the day, well, we have a leader. I think appearing yesterday in Hiru program, I know. In any case, we have a leader who takes responsibility. Who takes responsibility? A leader who will never evade responsibility.
So what's the responsibility?
And I think Damita Beratna herself
on that
has
matter.
not. Damita Beratna herself was not blaming the leader. But at the end of the day, a leader will be responsible. And we as members...
So what is the responsibility he has taken? Has he spoken to Damita Beratna?
Well, what has happened? Obviously.
No, Damita Beratna, subsequent to this incident that took place, speaking on social media, said the leader nor the general secretary of the party even answered her telephone calls. So you are saying here that Damita Beratna was spoken
so many
to.
things have happened by now. At
Dr.
the time
Mahim,
of,
isn't this a matter of grave concern that within your party, the democratic process and the
democracy that you're talking about?
Responsibility, there is a question here. And it's a question which the public is asking, essentially. But within the party, each time we ask a member of the SJB, the SJB members don't seem to be so interested.
Let me also add that.
I'm a member of the working
Doctor,
committee.
let me also
Extremely interested.
But was this discussed in the
fairness
working committee?
and justice for members in the party.
No, but
was this
Even in public.
Doctor, who took the decision?
Who took the
Now, I do not in this program intend to go into internal dynamics relating to what has happened. What has happened obviously will be a matter of discussion in the party internally in the days to come. All what I want to say is, as a member of the national list and as a member of the working committee, we strongly believe that if there had been a mistake, such a mistake should not have happened. We believe in justice and fair play, and we certainly will voice our opinion.
Yesterday, Anukumar Disanayaka was on air live on the Satna program, Dr. Mendis, if you watched Sirasa yesterday. And he said the allegations leveled by many members of the opposition is not true, and that he has only had the opportunity to lead the country for 45 days, and he needs more time to make the country in the correct course. What do you have to say about that?
That is an absolute shame, I would say. This is a leader and a party that was talking in terms of doing things in 24 hours.
No.
Of course,
No.
of course. You see how they will take action against the corrupt, how they will prosecute people, and they certainly not say we will take a lot more time to think about how the mode of operation would be and so on. Take even the IMF matter. Obviously they knew that if a regime is established, they will have to. They are not going to be told by the IMF, well, you better get a 2/3 majority in parliament and then we will have a meaningful discussion. No, they should have been responsible for a meaningful discussion with transparency for the people of this country. They have had discussions and we know that they were extremely defeatist. They were self-contradictory. They had no plan, absolutely no plan whatsoever.
Was there any
and
member of the
continue.
SJB at this meeting?
Pardon?
Was there any members of the SJB at the meeting? Because you sound as if someone from the SJB was there and they communicated something to you. Because you said that they sounded defeatist. That's a very big
Serious.
statement.
Yeah, I mean, they contradicting themselves.
No, but you're acting as if you were there, Dr. Mendis.
Well, you can interpret that way.
No, because,
that way. But what I'm saying
because today
is,
the public are watching the show,
Yeah,
and they
obviously.
should not get the wrong message that is projected by the SJB.
Yeah.
You all were not there at that meeting, and whatever was discussed at that meeting was a
well,
closed-door meeting.
the simple matter for the general public listening to me right now is that this is a government that represented the need for change, transparency. Tell us, right now, make it public as to what they discussed with IMF.
Right, okay.
Discuss.
Right, Professor
And
Jacob, you
what-
have an opportunity.
What did they discuss?
Tell us.
Yeah.
Right. You have an opportunity. Okay.
What did they all discuss?
Yeah, no, our main,
Tell the people.
Our main
No,
problem.
to be very fair, Professor,
not
when
there,
you
right?
make statements like it was a defeatist.
Defeatist, obviously.
Yeah, but
They've defeated the intentions of the people.
Unless otherwise
They have
you know the
insulted the
content.
people.
If you unless
They
otherwise
don't
you know the
believe in
content.
transparency.
Yeah, but unless otherwise you know the content of that meeting, I think it's a too far-fetched statement to make. But again,
You see,
you are entitled to your own
Yeah,
opinion.
by the
But let's ask
all what they should do
Yeah.
is to make what is
Right.
discussed public.
So, Professor Jacob, tell us.
We had some reservations about this agreement, and one of them is, of course, that no directors like you guys were taxed. Instead, only the poor people's EPF was taxed. Right. First point. Second point is all this money that they
I didn't understand. Sorry, you said.
Instead of us, the poor people are there.
Yeah, no, I
That
think
is not true.
No,
No, that is not true.
all the
That is not true. That is not
bank deposits bank treasury bills were not taxed. Were
Yeah,
not taxed, whereas the EPF and ETF bonds were taxed. Right?
Yeah, but even the general public, like we come from the private sector, we are
Yeah,
paying
EPF
nearly
and ETF would have
36%.
got, yeah, of
Yeah, we are paying 36% tax to the government,
Yeah.
Professor.
Yeah.
So that was
Then the
that's not true
other
what we
thing
were
is
saying.
VAT on essential goods, right? Those are things, and we have to, while ensuring that we can take the IMF program forward, we have to try to negotiate that. So that is being negotiated, and then there will be another. The original plan was they will get the next tranche of money. Now they are going to come for negotiations again. So we are going forward.
No, what they're saying is, what the IMF is saying is, they want to first of all look at the budget of the government, and the next tranche would be solely based on the budget that is being presented, because at the end of the day they have some goals that need to be achieved in terms of their revenue targets as well. Only if those revenue targets are met in the budget would they be able to go ahead with the other tranche. That's what they said, Professor.
But you misunderstand the IMF. IMF is not interested in Sri Lanka at all. They want to protect all these countries giving loans to us and to other countries. So that is all they are doing. So in order to do that, they have to pacify these people who give
But, I remember-
sovereign bonds.
Well,
Can I?
Well done.
Yeah, Professor, let him finish.
Sovereign bonds, right? Those people who are given the sovereign bonds, they are insisting that the local people have are not really important in this thing. Our problems are with our foreign reserves and things like that. So it's not very important.
So then you also reduce the taxes.
This is really used in order to make the government feel that.
I think that's wrong, Professor. I'll tell you why. Because taxes are important. Because if you don't have revenue,
taxes are important, but who should do tax? That's
if
the
you
question.
don't have revenue, government revenue, then you try to bridge it from the foreign loans.
Yeah. So okay. So what I'm saying is, taxes are important, but you must tax the people who have money. We can have a wealth tax, we can have property tax, but rather what we are having is the poor farmer is paying for his bomb. For he goes to market and buy something, he has to pay 80%.
So why can't
we can't reverse it without upsetting that thing? So as negotiation,
what we are saying.
we are doing it. We are doing it. We are doing it, but you must
it's
realize.
Easy to say.
But you must realize.
We know. We knew. To implement it.
We knew that it's not that easy. But the problem is this: we have to negotiate, because otherwise we are going to. We can do what Chandrika did.
But you promised the people so much.
At least tell us what to do.
When we are looking at international education, it's about how do we modernise it whilst keeping its traditional values, and how do we make it
I had started, and I thought I had to go back and do it, and that's how it all began.
The way things are going, the youth are only thinking of leaving the country.
back. Economic policy thinking is very weak inside government.
I think the public is the best watchdog in terms of corruption.
The People's Platform.
If you
what do you negotiate?
You negotiate to reduce the tax or impact on the ordinary people.
There were 3 meetings, Professor. There were 3 meetings with your.
He knows more about it. Okay, tell us.
No. The first one was with your
we
experts,
as journalists,
right?
Just to get in the right track, we are journalists and we know exactly what is going on. If not, we are not going to be in this side of the bench, and you all won't be on the other side of the bench. Because there is something more that we know, more than you.
Professor is also ex-journalist from.
So you should know better.
There were 3 meetings. But first one was with your economic experts, right? Second one was with the president and the central bank governor and treasury secretary. Third one also was the same people, right? Now the second one, after the second meeting, the president media division issued a statement saying that the president has urged to reduce taxes, VAT, right, everything, like the government side of the story. After the final meeting, the statement was president basically agreed to continue the same thing.
If you agree to continue, then they would have come with a tranche, as he says.
No, budget is a precondition.
Yeah, the budget is, that budget will have some of those things that we want to reduce the impact on the poorer people in the country. I mean,
but I have a big another question to you, if I may ask. Okay, we are going to have a parliament. I mean, people will be elected to the parliament. How are you going to form the budget? We need to prepare the budget.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
So where is the money going to come from?
I'm not solving.
No, seriously. I mean,
No, you are saying that if you take out the VAT, you have to get the money from other sources.
No. What I'm saying is, what are the plans that the government has in preparing the budget?
Yeah, budget has to be prepared. I mean, it's not an easy thing. No, it's not like sitting down and writing what is.
We are saying all this. Why, Professor? Sorry to say it, because you all have never been in government.
No.
If you were in government, you should know how to do a budget. That's okay. You are entitled, Professor Kumar, for your own thoughts and comments. There is no problem.
I want to ask from Srinath. Now, throughout your statement, you were saying the NPP misled the people and won the election, but I mean, their statements basically accepted by the people, and that basically people are confident about that party because all other parties had basically either misled them, not implemented what people want, right, or basically broken all the promises they have done. So how do you see, in that background, how do you see the parliament election, right?
Thank you for asking me that question. I will readily respond to what you asked me this way. So far, the government has been carrying on without much of a problem as far as I see it. I get the feeling as a citizen of this country that all this is stage play that will go on until the conclusion of the parliamentary elections on the 14th of November. Now, I have a very serious issue to raise with you. They say, Honorable Kumar Disanayaka himself had said that they are proposing to amend the constitution. Fine. There are areas in the constitution which have to be amended. No doubt, I don't get into a controversy with them. But so far, I have raised this issue elsewhere. So far, they have not told us exactly the areas in which they will amend the constitution. Now, I have a serious problem in my own mind. If they get a massive majority in parliament, what are the constitutional amendments that they are going to bring in? They have not told us. I have raised this issue. If Professor can answer my question, I'll be very happy if he can say. Just a minute. I have only begun. If you can give me an assurance on behalf of your party that you will not do what I am trying to say, I'll be extremely grateful, because at least we will have on record something. What I say is, this constitutional amendment, what they are, they have not specifically told us. I know. As
is it constitutional amendment or new constitution?
New constitution.
New constitution? That's even worse. Because I say if they get a massive majority in parliament, I will not rule out the possibility of them introducing the system that is applicable in Russia and China, where they will bring us into a one-party system. And that will be the worst thing that can happen to this country, because if they do that, I'm not saying they're going to do it. I have a serious doubt in my own mind. If they do that, I'm telling the nation, the voters, all of us will have to look up to the skies above and cry and do nothing else for the next 25 years. Because there we will have a dictatorship in this country, a politically, democratically elected government going into a dictatorship where we will have to eat what is given to us and do what they...
Why 25 years?
No, actually, because if they take power, if they take control under a one-party system, in Russia and China, for the last 60 years, they have been carrying on with it.
So right? you're saying Kumar Disanayaka will stay on for power for 25 years?
No, I'm not saying that. Of course, if there is a one-party system that is brought in, if there's a serious doubt, a serious question to be answered. Just a minute, okay. Right? If that happens, don't expect there to be any change of any form of government. Democracy will be totally rid of us for the next 25 years.
You want to add something to that?
In the Financial Times column today, Dr. Ajantha, eminent political scientist, very clearly reminds what Honorable Kumar Disanayaka, the President, has already stated in a meeting in Norelia, that they will give up power only when all the matters are sorted out.
There you are.
It is in the Financial Times today, in the column. And Dr. Ajantha has been...
I have raised this issue at public fora, but no one from the government has still answered my query.
So this is an opportunity.
For the reason that they don't want to make an issue out of it.
Honorable Kumar said that we plan to take power for the next 5 years, and during that 5 years we hope to solve all the problem of people. That is what he has said. He has not said that we'll
So
go
what
on.
are the problems you're
Only
going
when
to solve?
matters are sorted out that they will give up.
Let's
What was stated.
No,
Mahim,
you are
Mahim,
the
let
greatest manufacturers.
No,
of,
I think it's
the greatest manufacturer of fake news is the
no.
SDP has got fake
To
news
be
unit.
fair by them, we need to we should not speculate. I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
and
not
we-
a speculation
No,
here.
wait. There was speculation about previous President Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well. What happened to them? Right? It's people power. End of the day, right? So
No, but
then,
As long as there is a democracy where multi-party system works, yes. Democracy also has its own drawbacks.
Yeah,
Make no mistake.
but let's give
JR
opportunity.
JR destroyed the democracy, not here. JR destroyed our problems to
Why
get back.
don't you say two things that you're going to change?
Why? I said
Tell
the
us,
constitution.
tell us whether-
Constitution.
tell us, give us an
the
assurance,
executive,
give us an
executive
assurance,
presidency
give us-
will go, and also we will have more safeguards.
Give us an assurance.
We will have more safeguards to ensure the rule of
Give
law,
us an
and the independence of the commissions that are there.
Give us an assurance. Give us an assurance.
Do we need
If you
to change
Can I
the
say- can you
constitution?
give us an assurance.
Do we
Can I
need
do
to
a
change
assurance
the
over
constitution?
what,
Give us an assurance. You are a high-ranking
No,
member
I'm
of
not that high.
the present
No,
government.
this
Give us an assurance.
But we can't live on suppositions. This gentleman supposed that they will form a government. He supposed that we are going to have a
No, but do you
Russian
need
type
to
The day
change
that
the
happens,
and she's
the day that
We are
happens,
just
the day that
restating
what is
happens,
on the
the day that happens, the only thing that we
Right.
will be
Srinath,
able to do is look up to the skies and say,
Right, okay.
oh, what a big mistake we have
So what did you do when with JR?
Professor,
Yeah.
just clarify one thing for me. And the NPP has its executive committee, right? And you are a member of it, and there are a large number of members.
75.
Right, 75. And they have, by and large, governed the NPP over the last several years, including the last
There's a
election.
high committee also.
Yes, last election.
Like the
and
Politburo
next
and
one.
Central Committee.
Yes. But once the new, if your party wins the election and the NPP forms a government, then it becomes the cabinet of 25 ministers who will take the decisions. So what happens to the NPP's executive
We are a
committee?
political group. No, we are interested in advancing our party. That is the main thing. So if we find that some in the cabinet is making some wrong decisions, we will make our objections known. We will try to pressurize them to change it.
But it will be the cabinet.
Of course, that's democratic. That's the normal type of government that we
Professor
have.
Kumar, how long have you been a journalist for?
I was running the Nation for some time. Can you remember this? A left-wing paper.
Okay.
It was a once a week.
when was that?
That was in 70s.
In the 1970s, so
Yeah.
you probably would be
I worked
very
with
aware of
Hector.
dynastical politics in Sri Lanka, right?
What?
Dynastical politics in Sri Lanka, you are well aware.
Dynastic.
Family
At that time,
politics.
there was no dynastic. Dynastic
No, but
started after the Rajapaksas.
Yeah, after the Rajapaksas. What is the take of the NPP on dynastical politics?
We are opposed to that. Now you are coming up with one or two examples that is not going to solve that.
What's the one or two examples I'm going to give?
I know that. It looks like I found something. You have researched our list and found some wife or something. I don't know.
Wife of who?
I don't know.
No,
No, what you are criticizing,
I have now learned how your way of thinking. I know when from first question what your next question is going to
I'm
be.
trying to figure out. You're saying about a wife. Which wife? Whose
Wife or husband, I don't know something.
Wife or husband?
With the way you.
So why don't you say it properly?
I don't know.
Husband
Why
and
don't you
wife
say
are
it
there.
properly?
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Members of the Central Committee of the party.
But whatever it is.
I'm talking about a son and a father. There is a husband and a wife.
Yeah,
also.
no, I'm talking. I don't know. Son and father, I know them. You're talking
He is in the
Chaturanga and
executive
father.
committee.
I don't know. So
Bimal Ratnayaka and Samanmali.
yeah. So, but the question is.
That's the husband and wife.
Yeah, I know, but whatever it
That
is.
is not dynastical politics.
No, but that's not. The problem is that
What is the problem?
they are. If you say that they were
Good
not
that you're a
active.
journalist because you
No,
read my
active.
mind quite early. Right.
No, if they were not active in politics, then I can understand. Chaturanga and his father were both very active, right? So father was the secretary of the NPP.
So Namal Rajapaksa and Mahim Rajapaksa
even
also
more
very active in politics.
Even more active.
They are not active.
No, they were groomed. That's
very unfair.
They were not groomed.
That's very unfair. When other people do something, it's wrong. When you do that,
Chaturanga has not got a law degree sitting in the principal's office for one thing, right? He has.
Who did that?
Yeah. So
Who did that?
I don't know, but there was people who there are claims of people doing that.
No, but when you're saying something, but Professor Jacob, when you're saying something, you have to be very direct.
I can tell the person if you want.
No, so who? No, let's keep that aside. I'm talking about Mahim Rajapaksa and Namal Rajapaksa.
Yeah.
He's also son and
the problem is
son and father. Chamal Rajapaksa and Sahinda Rajapaksa, son and father. What is the difference between Nihal Abir Singh and Chaturanga Abir Singh?
The difference is both are well qualified people and both have been very active in politics. Both are members of the national the executive committee. One is secretary, other is a member of executive committee.
Mahinda is a lawyer and so is Namal.
Yeah, so that is the question. Whether he's a lawyer,
Why is
you
that
can
a
ask
question?
him. You can ask him.
I mean, okay, but he has
if the Bar Association has recognized him,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
the
Courts before
exactly.
the
How can you go by?
But Professor Vijaya, I think
No, but
either
there has
taking,
been no. Can I put it this way?
Yes.
Dynastic politics means bringing in a person of your family who has not, who is it is part of nepotism where he does not qualify to be there. In our case, where if there are any people like, they are all people very active who have worked for the party, and you know Chaturanga here comes several of your organizations.
And the husband and wife?
Who lays down the standard?
It is a general, we discuss, I mean, there is no problem.
Party, your party, not the others.
No.
Your party will set down, this is the standard.
No.
Husband and wife reach
No,
we
set down standards for our people, not for your people.
But you're criticizing on platform about the country, you know.
The other parties with regard to this.
Yeah, so, but I am saying
benchmarks right.
Our benchmarks are perfectly okay. Now, supposing my son, but their daughter goes into politics and all that, and maybe if they instead of coming in this party, if they came on the SJB, you wouldn't have any questions. No?
Is there someone from the SJB also like that?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if there are son and daughter, or father and son, one of them is in the SJB, one is here. You won't have any questions.
Why
because it's not dynastic, right?
I thought you would start doing this after the 24th of November, but you seem to have started it prior to that.
You know nothing about us, but I'll tell you that all these people are very
about you.
By now the people know.
Dr. Mahim Mendis, I want to ask you a question. Dr. Mahim Mendis, now one of the key concerns from the public was like this old guards are always old guards are going to the parliament, they are always being getting all this ministerial portfolio, there is no way the youth can go to the parliament. What has your party done for this? I'm asking this question because one of your key members, Lihini, is not given candidacy in your party.
Right. So what is your question?
No, I mean, she was supposed to be in the list, right?
Well, people...
But Lehini, Shihar, just to correct you there, she's from the national list.
Yeah.
She's in the national list.
Yes.
But not everyone can contest from not everyone can be part of that 21 members who would be contesting from Colombo district, isn't it?
Yeah, you're talking about young people, right?
Yes.
Young people with very high credentials in the SJB list. I can take an example from my own university, the former head of the Department of Law, 37-year-old Dr. Nadish De Silva has just returned from Japan after his PhD in international trade law. Is is contesting, not in the national list, contesting in the Gaul district. And he had the guts to resign from his post in the university in the Department of Law and, contesting over there. Like that, there are so many young candidates in every electoral district put by the SJB.
So this aspect has been deliberately looked into, right? In your party. This aspect has been including youth.
Including youth with very high credentials, right? Who have proved themselves in their chosen fields, like in the case of Dr. Nadish De Silva, lawyer.
Now, Mahim, what about the number of women candidates? Because it seems very low in the SJB.
Yes, as a democratic party, well, our leader specifically has advocated the need for more and more youth and women to be involved in the party electoral organizing, and it is for women.
How many women are contesting from your party in Colombo district?
Nationalists?
No,
Dr. Chandima, Vijaya.
Total number.
Right, okay.
Percentage-wise?
Total, well, I cannot...
He has the percentage.
I cannot give the...
It's 16 and 5.4%.
16.
No,
See, you've had 5 years, right? You would have said that 5 years ago and still the same.
Party, the youngest party, right? NPP started in 1965.
No.
We started in 2005. The JVP, there's only one leader for you, right?
No.
Is the leader of the NPP. We haven't got to argue about that, right? Okay. Now, in this young party, we have, as you say, 60 odd candidates, women candidates. We certainly would like
16.
Right, okay. You're including the
I have
nationalists as well.
16 in my own independent group.
Right. We certainly. You see,
I have 16 in my group.
We are a party that is encouraging all. We believe in equality and we believe in equal dignity. We want more and more young men, young women to be involved in dynamic political process.
But we don't see that in your list.
Sure. You can't bring people by force. You will understand.
No, not by force.
No.
Surely you could find
that is something to do with the political culture of the country. People have lost faith in the political culture, right? It looks like very clearly not many Dr. Nadish De Silvas exist, whether man or woman.
Ajantha, why didn't you join hands with any political party? You could probably join the SJB or the NPP or the NPP that is headed by Srinath Perera.
My intention of going to the parliament is also to be independent inside the parliament too. Of course, I'll be providing my knowledge, I'll be working together with everyone, but it's important that I don't have a leader who's going to tell me exactly what to do. When it comes to decision making, very often the group gets together, the leader gives a direction as to what they should be voting for, and and the others keep silent.
So
like
in the Colombo district, Dr. Ajantha, you can spend for a candidate approximately 5.7 million Sri Lankan rupees. How much of money have you spent so far?
Well, I don't want to disclose, but I
no,
really
but you have to disclose.
I'm proud to say.
Dr. Ajantha, you will have to.
People.
Dr. Ajantha,
we have spent roughly 2.6 million for the entirety of the group within Colombo.
Okay, so I would say it's around 1 million.
For the entire group?
The reason being, the women and the men as well who are in my group are supporting a lot. We are working together.
No, but Dr. Ajantha, you know, based on the new Campaign Financing Act, you have to declare how much you are going to spend.
Of course I will disclose.
So, what is the amount that you are going to spend by the end of the campaign is over?
More likely 3 million.
Less than the 5.7 million threshold.
Sorry?
No, less than the 5.7 million.
Yes, 5.7
per candidate. So just to understand,
so 3 million is
per person.
The whole entire group.
For the entire right. Where did you get this money from?
My own money.
This 3 million is completely sourced by you for all the 16 candidates.
Of course.
Right. What about you, President Council Srinath Perera? You said 3 million, 2.8 million, right?
2.6 million up to date.
Okay.
We probably will have to spend a little more during the next 8 days. Yes.
In your camp, there are several businessmen also.
Yes.
Are they also funding the campaign?
They are spending for themselves. But as far as the Colombo district is concerned, in my assessment, up to now, we have spent about 2.7 million. We have got a few thousands of rupees.
You're a President's Council, you earn quite well.
Can I tell you? Oh, that's where you're making mistake.
But it's now being taxed.
That's where you're making mistake. Can I tell you this? Now that you have raised this issue, we have enough money to feed ourselves, my family. We can travel by car wherever we want. If there's a health problem, we have enough money to look after ourselves. But I can tell you, believe me when I say this, when we get into politics, I feel that we are worse than beggars. Make no mistake, we can't match the type of money that is being spent by some of the
So you're coming
parties.
into politics because you want to make money?
No.
So to spend the
We
money.
want to spend the money.
I would earnestly request you. I would earnestly request you to withdraw that suggestion.
No, I'm not making a suggestion. You said Srinath, that you are worse than beggars. Does that mean that you're coming into politics to earn money?
You.
That's what I'm asking.
No. If I wanted, I could have made millions. Check my credentials in the department. I have never been accused of any corrupt practices by anyone up to date. During my practice as
we are not saying that you're corrupt. I'm asking you, are you now you have not made money so far?
You mean to say?
No, I'm not saying.
Are you trying to say that myself, I have built up a reputation for myself as an honourable man? Do you think that I will want to go to Parliament and during the next 5 years destroy that reputation? No, no. I'll tell you, I sometimes feel that I have committed some karma during earlier birth, and that's why I have got involved in this dirty game of politics. I can tell you that. This dirty game of politics. Sometimes in the mornings when I get up, I begin to wonder, is it that I have committed some sort of karma when I could feed myself, when I can sustain myself?
But Srinath, to be very honest, I'm a firm believer of this thought. You are what you are made of. So if you don't want to be in politics, you can definitely get out of it. This is what you choose to be.
No. Can I tell you this? If
okay, very subjective. This is my opinion. I am just telling this to you.
Thank you. Can I respond? If we don't, I can tell you with certainty that the day we die, our children and grandchildren will curse not the persons who robbed the country of this. The funds, but they will come up to our grave and say, my father, my grandfather, who had a say in this society, whose voice could have been heard, kept his mouth shut, and that is the reason why we are in this plight, and they are going to curse us.
Yeah, but that is the reason that individuals in the caliber of Niresh, who has more than 30 years of experience in journalism, is here today. That is why independent journalist Shihar, who is an investigative journalist, is here today. This is why I am here today, because I believe we have a responsibility towards society, and this is what we chose to do. So I don't want to blame my karma or anything of that sort for what I am here.
But I can tell you.
But it's okay.
Believe me when I say this. Believe me, this country, 98% of the politicians are corrupt.
Right.
Make no mistake.
So Mahim Mendis, now 98% of the politicians are corrupt. So does the 98% include members of the SJB also?
Of course.
No, I'm asking this from Dr. Mendis.
What percentage?
98% include SJB.
Yeah.
Well,
what percentage?
We believe in a very
I will change my percentage. Not 98%, maybe a little.
Our leader is not accused. I cannot
I'm not
farm in the party SJB. I know for one thing that we are led by a leader with very high integrity, not accused.
So we are not accusing the leader. We are accusing those who are there. Some members in your party.
Can I raise a question? I would like to know earnestly. I left the SJB because of that. I was there in the working committee for 7 months, and I felt that they were getting hordes of money. From where was a question mark. I had reason to believe.
We'll ask
I
Dr.
had reason
Mendis
to believe. That's why
that.
I'm raising. I had reason to believe that a good part of that money was coming from corrupt businessmen.
Dr. Mendis, you can respond.
Make no mistake of that. And that's why.
You have two options, Dr. Mendis. Either you can duck that question or answer that question.
Yes, just because he mentioned something like that, that doesn't mean that I have to answer, because I have not seen any of that being funded by the corrupt in the SJB.
Then from where does it come?
Well,
tell us.
of course.
Tell the people. Your leader distributed 100 odd buses, each valued at 5 million each, minimum. Yeah. Tell us from where you got the funds.
So
was it that you had a printing press?
What happened to those projects? I mean,
Dr. Mendis, I just very point that...
Yeah, smart classes and buses.
Adding to that, so can you answer that?
The Sakwala and Husma programs
the question
came to be funded by philanthropists, well-wishers, nothing to do with political affiliation, because they have the highest respect for Sajith Premadasa as a leader in the opposition, and it was an unprecedented move for a leader in opposition to engage in a project of that nature.
So, Dr. Mendis,
the system has miserably failed in the health system and the education system if he was innovative enough.
Right. Dr. Mendis, you very clearly articulate the word integrity. Most of the time when you speak about your leadership of the SJB, you spoke about the word integrity more than 15 times when you describe the leadership of Sajith Premadasa. But when you take a look at the list of those who have been nominated for the 14th November elections, there are individuals whose integrity is questioned. They have some black marks in the white paper that we're talking about. I don't want to mention names, but I can give you...
You're talking about the national list? Or?
National list.
Yeah.
You had individuals who wrote books about the central bank bond controversy, saying that there was no controversy that took place. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out... the list is clean also.
I mean, he has his freedom of expression in a democracy to write what he writes. And it is for the NPP government to ensure that what he has written or anyone else has written is all wrong. And it is your responsibility. The NPP has got a mandate to prove
but Dr. Mendis,
beyond reasonable doubt.
But don't you think, Dr.
When is it going to happen? We are challenging.
I say when did you join the Open University?
He's already a good politician.
How are you doing? Things take time. You can't just... I mean, even a baby takes 9 months to be born. So
but you didn't say that on political... You didn't say that on political...
We never said 24 hours.
A baby takes 9 months to never came through.
So I was the principal petitioner, together with 2 of my colleagues, petitioners, in the Supreme Court historic case on bankrupting of the economy. 9 people have been found guilty by the Supreme Court. What is the NPP government going to do about that?
The Supreme Court has made a decision, but that's it.
So they will
but
be
you can file cases against them and take them to
What type of regime are we talking?
No, what do you mean they will be left alone?
People have been found guilty. You haven't got to reinvestigate into that. You haven't got to reinvestigate into that.
In case you don't know, there is a thing called the rule of law, right? Rule of law means politicians don't interfere with the law. What more can I say? They will change the law, but once the law is there, they let the people who are investigating to investigate, and we don't.
Can I ask you
a question? We had a situation where he was serving in the Attorney General's department. At that time, the Attorney General was more independent. Mahinda Rajapaksa has changed that. So we have to change those things. So those things take time. We can't do it. That is why we need a constitution, right? We need a constitution to change those things.
But what about the question that I raised, the issue that I raised? You are not answering.
I can't remember the issue. What is it? What is the issue?
That whether you will think of bringing a one-party system through this case. Tell it publicly. Tell it publicly, at least so that it will go on.
I mean, these are not things that you have to think of. Who will bring... do you think the Sri Lankan people will tolerate one
It's not a
party
question
system.
of tolerance. Once you, with the forces,
just to be fair by Professor Vijaya Kumar, he responded to that question. So let's not delve deep on that because he did say that.
Can I ask
No, before that, can I ask my good friend Dr. Mahim?
Right.
He said that well-wishers. Will your leader or your party disclose to us within the next week the names of those well-wishers who contributed money? That's all.
Okay, my questions to you.
Please, let the nation know. Who these great women are.
Probably they want to be anonymous.
No. Why?
Do you have to disclose?
To do good, you have to be anonymous.
Yeah. Do you have to disclose?
You become anonymous when you're doing something corrupt. When you're doing something great.
Funding the schools.
There are a lot of individuals in Sri Lanka or even overseas who does not want to say their names.
Is it your position that all the people, all these well-wishers are people who wanted to strengthen the nation by making donations, but they don't want to disclose them? Are these monies that they have earned the correct way? Have they paid taxes? All those questions will arise.
I'm not going to say that the people who have gifted the money,
tell us,
earned it in an honorable way, dishonorable way.
Tell us, please tell us.
Well, I'm telling you very clearly, whoever who donated money.
And we want to remain anonymous. Very good. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, now can I ask the question?
People will decide. The nation will decide. The people will decide. The voters will decide whether the nation will decide whether
the people who are denied their fundamental needs in the schools.
Srinath, we have to let Dr. When you ask a question, you have to let Dr. Mendis respond. Okay, so Dr. Mendis, you can respond now. I'll give you 30 seconds, and then you have another question from Dr. Ajantha.
Led by the leader of the opposition, an unprecedented move on the part of a leader of the opposition. Well, there were people. No leader of the opposition ever thought of programs of that nature in post-independent Sri Lanka. And there had been enough and more well-wishers who gladly helped him, not the party.
Right, okay.
Leader of the opposition was not handling money in that matter.
Right, okay. Dr. Ajantha, you
I have two questions to you. Number one is, Mr. Vijaya said very recently that he wants to start the Express Pearl investigations afresh. Now, afresh.
New investigation.
Again. So because you are in the executive committee, I'm sure they must have discussed about it in the executive committee. Otherwise, why does
we know that it is a big racket and people have...
What racket?
I mean, obviously, nobody took any action. Nobody took any action for 2 or 3 years. There must be somebody who has been paid. Yeah.
Okay, you are just saying it like that. But I can tell you, Mr. Vijaya Rajapaksa, who was the Minister for Justice, former Justice Minister.
He's not here today, so if you're mentioning names, you have to take full responsibility.
Yeah, I'm taking the fullest responsibility. He mentioned in the parliament that there is 250 million USD in the Lloyds Bank in England, which was given as a bribe, and that it should be brought back to Sri Lanka. This was discussed in front of Mr. Vijaya Mr. Anura Dissanayaka, as well as Harini was there. Now, why don't they do something about that?
There are people investigating it. They will do something about it.
What are they investigating?
Why there is a unit investigating financial frauds.
Who should be doing that?
Yeah, but Dr. Ajantha.
Okay, the second one I want to know.
Dr. Ajantha.
No, second one.
We also have questions, so I can't let you ask all the questions.
No, only one more.
I'll let you ask the questions momentarily, because in order to maintain the balanceness of this show as a moderator, I can't let you ask all the questions, Dr. Ajantha. Unfortunately. That's not the format. That's not the format of the show, unfortunately. So, Professor Vijaya Kumar, right now we see a lot of queues. Now, one of the allegations leveled by the SJB is the queues for coconuts, and there may be a crisis with regard to rice in Sri Lanka also. We saw the manner in which how several officials from the Consumer Affairs Authority even raided one of the rice mill owners, warehouses also. We've seen such gimmicks even during the Gotabaya Rajapaksa administration. Gotabaya Rajapaksa administration, we saw how they invaded several rice mills, but nothing to speak about. We see similar actions from this regime as well. Is it all a public gimmick?
Regarding quota, you have to ask him, but
no, but
we are not doing any, there are no public gimmicks. We are trying to do something about the rice situation. So we have to, we are facing a very powerful mafia-like rice millers lobby. So it's very difficult to do it, but we are trying hard to do it. And
but you all are trying to tackle that.
Yeah, we'll try to tackle it, and because we want to give the farmers a better price, the consumers a better price, and try to cut the middleman.
So I'm just trying to understand this mechanics of giving a better price. Now let's say, what is the price you all are going to give to farmers? I'm just now you all are saying you all want to give a better price. No, let's put this into numbers, will you? Because I came from private sector, so I like to talk about numbers.
Let's say you want a certain price for paddy.
Yeah, so paddy is around 120, 130,
whatever it is. But
was the last harvest.
Yeah, but the thing is that they never get that price.
Okay.
What happens is very often there are rejections and all that, and ultimately the cost of transport is too much. They sell it at whatever price to them, and those guys collect it, and then they store it and wait till the price goes up. So that is a problem. How do you tackle it? We have to.
So this is the rice mafia you're talking about.
Rice mafia, and I think we have to think of something like the old paddy marketing board, something like that.
So there is a coconut mafia also. Huh? There is a coconut mafia also.
Coconut, I don't know this story. I have not seen any queues for coconuts. Where are the queues?
Are you in Sri Lanka?
Yeah. In Kandy, there are no queues for coconuts. I'm in Kandy.
So there are no queues for coconuts?
Yeah, I have not seen a single queue.
Do you know how much coconut is?
Yeah, I know.
How much?
Well, if you go to Keels, it's 140. Otherwise, some small shops, it even comes to 150.
But do you see the coconuts being available?
Yeah. Some of them are. I recently bought coconut day for yesterday, so I can tell you.
We should all come to your area.
Yeah, lot of. You have to choose a lot because it's all broken to plucked too early. Culti, lot of culti, and then they allow the. I learned a new trick in this actually. They allow the husk to remain, so the coconut looks bigger than it really is.
Professor, now you spoke about the rice mafia.
But at least you know now to choose a coconut. But there are people in Sri Lanka who can't even afford a coconut.
No, there are people in Sri Lanka who do not know how to choose a coconut, maybe.
Professor, you spoke of the rice mafia, and there are many other mafias.
Of course.
Vegetable mafia, sand mafia, you know.
No journalist mafia, I hope.
Yeah. Is the NPP in government planning to crack down on these mafias? Because if it is a mafia, it's illegal.
Mafia is a loose word. Mafia is a loose word.
Yeah, but you can't.
It's a cartel. Correct word would be a cartel.
Cartels. What you accuse them now is of hoarding.
Hoarding, yeah.
Rice, you said they are hoarding.
Yeah, of course.
There are laws in this country against hoarding.
There are laws.
So why?
They were not enforced because the politicians were in their pockets.
Right. So would an NPP government,
of course,
actually go and arrest those mafia?
I told you there is a rule of law.
Yes, but that is the rule of law.
Arresting is not the job. Arresting is not the job of the politicians, right? There are procedures, right? In case you do, law will tell us, right? So we have to get a non-corrupted police service and the legal system also. Now, to some extent, it has improved as far as the courts are concerned. Attorney General is still a political appointment, which is not good. And we must make sure that Parliament has got those committees which approve the names.
No, it's a matter of the minister telling the Consumer Affairs Authority to go and arrest them. They do that all the time.
That is the old system. We have to follow the rule of law. You don't believe the rule.
This is the existing rule of law.
Rule of law is there are certain procedures which have to be followed. the politician, actually, theoretically, the politicians should only making policy. It's up to the people.
But if we are waiting for the police to act,
yeah,
and that is
but
one of the most corrupt departments in the country.
No, now we are trying to improve that. No, but when we try to improve that, people make various allegations against people who are appointed in order to prevent them doing their work. That is a sad.
Price control is a mechanism available. I don't say that in anything and everything you should control prices.
No, it's done by the Consumer Affairs Authority.
Price controlling is a weapon that is available to the ruling government.
Yeah, and also one thing that happened is because an NPP government is there, I think you will also agree with me, the bribery has reduced by the fact that people are frightened to take bribes.
Which bribery?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure.
I am not sure.
There's no evidence
No
of
evidence.
that.
What's
There's
evidence?
no evidence of that.
There is no evidence.
Bribery has reduced. Bribery has reduced where? In the customs. Bribery has reduced, you're saying.
Now there are few people who have been arrested, no? After that,
But they were released very quickly.
No, they were not released.
They were released very quickly.
No,
they came out smiling.
No, they might be bailed out. That's a different matter. But still,
It's customs.
huh?
No, I mean,
Customs, some people have been sent to jail for 30 years.
That was the people who were arrested 10 years ago.
yeah.
But
Not under your regime.
No, but whatever it is, the message goes out, and I think I would be surprised if the bribery is at the same level as it used to be. Now government servants are a little more careful.
As an ordinary citizen of this country, I tell you, there's absolutely no change in the attitudes of the state sector.
Certainly
as
the
far as
traffic
bribery
police
is
are
concerned.
not less corrupt at all.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
I thought
That's my impression. Right on.
I think we will withdraw that statement about the traffic police, Niresh, because we can't level, as journalists, we cannot level allegation at any court. So I'm going to withdraw with respectfully
No, but-
Yes,
that
we withdraw
statement.
that
Professor,
statement. Right.
Professor, now, if you take Singapore model where there is a strong state sector, they have, the state sector is well paid, right?
Really?
They are well paid,
Yeah.
and they have well qualified people, highly qualified academics, are coming to the state sector, and
The cabinet
there
also.
is very strong punishment or fines for corruption. Do you want to follow that model as well here?
First of all, Singapore is not a best example. Singapore is a semi-totalitarian state, right? You can't do anything in Singapore without being recorded by the cameras. In every building there's a camera. If I get a visit from opposition leader in Singapore, there will be the police coming asking why did he come to see me. That is the actual situation in Singapore. But Singapore has put forward a good image, and they are paying very high salaries. In fact, Lee Kuan Yew was paid much more than the President of the United States. So I would call that official corruption rather than being just a good pay. Then what they have, of course, sent someone to jail recently, for minister.
Yeah.
So,
Minister of Transport.
So we would like to have a situation where we can send people to jail. But the trouble here is, if I may say so, events are made up in order to prevent these things happening. The last election, the Easter bombing and all that was to get into power and remove all the evidence. That is what is happening.
Okay, but so anyway, because there's a court case on that and all that, Professor Kumar, you have to take responsibility for what you're saying. So we will absolve ourselves on that. So on the final round, I want to pick your brain, Dr. Ajantha Perera, as to why must people elect you from the Colombo district? So let's start from you, and I'll give you each speaker 3 minutes to sum up.
Right.
Please don't bring new arguments, and Dr. Ajantha, don't ask questions in the last round. Use these 3 minutes to impress the people as to how and why they should elect you to Parliament.
Okay. Basically, Sri Lanka is a country where the economy has gone down so badly that we are in such a bad situation. And therefore, the best brain should go to the Parliament. Going to the Parliament is from different angles, different parties, maybe independent groups. But once you are inside the Parliament, you need to learn the art of working together, because decision making becomes the most critical thing in the Parliament. And this is something that I know exactly how to get that job done. And another thing is, what I firmly believe is that we need to develop this country economically. While developing economically, the most critical factor is protection of the environment. Protection of the environment becomes very, very essential for the next generations. And therefore, you need to respect tools such as environmental impact assessment, which has been totally neglected over the years. But we need to develop this country by developing industries and also industrial estates. And another aspect is education of the children. Today the youth are leaving Sri Lanka because they do not find any hope in Sri Lanka. And this is very, very important that we ensure that they have a safe place in Sri Lanka where the education can be received by them to the very best. And therefore, I firmly believe as an academic as well, that we need to ensure that the children would have the best education, they would have the best opportunities here in Sri Lanka and abroad. And also, we need to find the most talented youth. We need to give them opportunities for them to develop their own entrepreneurships and industries. And lastly, as a woman, as a mother, I would say, every mother knows that she likes to feed her children 3 times a day. 3 meals a day is an essential thing. And I firmly believe that I have the ability and the understanding of the common person. That's why I'm contesting from the loaf of bread. The loaf of bread is something that represents the hunger and the need of the people. And in this country, people are not asking the government for much. They are only asking that they can have 3 meals a day so that the family could be well fed and they can look forward with hope. Hope is something that I can give to the people of Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajantha Perera. Dr. Ajantha Perera is contesting from an independent political party from the Colombo district. I now move my attention towards President's Counsel Srinath Perera from the National People's Party.
Thank you very much. I can only say this. I think the right-wing group of political parties in this country, as I said earlier, during the last 50 years or so, have brought the right-wing politics into the lowest possible position. I think we have to change this. We have to protect the right wing. We have to also protect our democratic rights, and therefore, I think it's nothing but fair that we ask you to elect at least a few good people to Parliament who will not accept positions, who will not join hands with other corrupt political parties, but who will sit in the opposition. And whichever government that is in power, we will support to whatever extent we can if they do something good for the people, and if they do something which is violative of the rights of the people, with equal force, we'll oppose it.
Thank you very much.
Our main problem is getting 2 or 3 people into Parliament. I assure you, if by chance you give us a hand to get 2 or 3 good people into Parliament, we assure you thereafter nobody else will be able to stop us. We will proceed and we will probably bring back the honor to the right-wing politics in this country.
Thank you very much, President's Counsel Srinath Perera from the National People's Party. Dr. Mahim Mendis from the SJB.
As the alternative to the government, the SJB firmly believes in checks and balances for better democratic governance. We do not believe that the country is going to achieve anything with a rubber-stamping parliament. We know what harm can befall the nation if there is a 2/3 overwhelming majority, a rubber-stamping legislature. We do not believe in that. We need an experienced group of people, parliamentarians and professionals with experience who can ensure that there is proper nation building and also contribute immensely for enlightened policy development and provide checks and balances in the implementation process. Right now we have a major danger. That is, the NPP has proved that it is not. Within the 45 days, it has ruled this country. They have gone back on most of the things that they said, including the IMF agreement. We know that specialized areas in social, economic, political, cultural development, even moral development, we require expertise, proper expertise. We cannot leave the destiny of the nation in the hands of people without the expertise. It's like I'm compelled to mention Dr. Ajantha again in today's Financial Times column. We cannot leave brain surgery in the hands of non-medical professionals and medical students. We need people with experience, and this NPP government has proved quite reasonably that they haven't got that expertise, and the SJB is not a party that will undermine the government unnecessarily, but provide checks and balances in order to further the interests of the people.
Very quickly, Dr. Mendis, because you mentioned about Dr. Dayan Jayathilaka, I know in 2019 Dr. Dayan Jayathilaka supported the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Then he went on to support the Sajid Premadasa as well. So he's in your camp right now. Am I right? He's not independent
Dayan
anymore.
Jayathilaka is not a member of the SJB.
But he's supporting the view of
an advisor to Ranasinghe Premadasa, later on to Mahinda Rajapaksa.
But he's supporting Sajid Premadasa, right?
Well,
full
personally,
disclosure.
he may be
right,
supporting,
okay. Because when
but
you
he's
say
not a member of the
right,
party.
okay, but when you're quipping from a statement, people want to know which camp he is on.
Yeah.
So he's on your camp, right?
I cannot say that he's on our camp because he has also argued the case with regard to the NPP. He has not been anti-NPP or anything like that.
Right, okay.
But he has been an eminent political commentator and critique.
Right, no problem. Thanks a lot, Dr. Mendis. Professor Vijaya Kumar.
Yes. Now, we contested the president election, and from the vote we got there, we are very confident that with that same vote we will have about 105 seats in parliament. However, 105 seats in parliament is not enough to form a majority. So we have seen before this the problems that are caused by having governments that cohabit, like, as you mentioned, some previous governments. What we have, however, when we work in the field, we notice that there is a lot of people who previously did not support us who are now moving towards us. This is particularly true in Kandy, for instance, among the estate workers. Now, therefore, we are fairly confident that we will get a majority. Now, the SJP is trying to make up stories that we are born into a two-third majority. We are not interested in two-third majority. We want to have majority. And in fact, we will form a constitution, a new constitution, and we would like to have a constitution which will be agreed to by all the parties. So that will happen if we and we do not believe in this rubber stamp politics. This rubber stamp politics, I have seen the best example of that is Ranil Wickremesinghe's group, where they rubber stamped Kelly Rambukwala 2 weeks before he was taken to prison. So this type of, we don't believe in that. We are also do not believe in corruption, and I can assure you that we will have we will have not only a government that is not corrupt, but we will also have a government that is committed to help the poorer people in this country. That is our main aim, and the poorer people in the government have been given a raw deal in the last by the last government especially, and throughout the politics. If you look at it, and all the actions of previous government are mainly to support the people in parliament more than anything else. We don't believe in that. We are trying to remove most of the privileges of parliament. We are trying to remove, at the moment, even the president doesn't have any of those privileges which used to be used by previous presidents. And we will give a very nice government, I think, and we ask the people to vote for us. We do not care whom you vote for Manapa. We want to have a majority in parliament so that we can then be in a position to solve all your problems which we agreed to do, and which people think that we can overnight do it by breaking the law. They are used to authoritarian governments, presidents who make decisions arbitrarily. We do not believe in that. We believe in the rule of law, and we hope that we will be at the end of 5 years, we would have solved most of the problems of the oppressive people in this oppressed people in this country, and it will be a left-wing government, not a right-wing government. Thank you.
Left-wing government?
Yeah, left-wing. We are left-wing.
Okay.
We are a right-wing government.
Thank you very much, Professor Vijaya Kumar from the National People's Power. He's a member of the Executive Committee of the NPP. Thank you very much, Dr. Mahim Mendis, representing the SJB. Dr. Mendis is a nationalist candidate from the SJB national list. Thank you very much, President's Council Srinath Perera, National People's Party member, as well as contesting from the Colombo district at the upcoming polls. Dr. Ajantha Perera, again contesting from the Colombo district through an independent political party. Thank you very much, Niresh. Thank you very much, Shihar, for joining us this evening on the show. Niresh Elitambi is the consultant director at Newsfirst, as well as Shihar Aniz is an independent journalist. You couldn't today get engaged because it's a pre-recorded version of Face the Nation, so we are very sorry. However, we are having another show on Monday, which is the last day of campaigning for the general election at 9:30 p.m. So please tune in to that as well. You will be able to hear from the political parties as to what the way forward is subsequent to the general elections 2024. I leave you tonight with a quote, as I always do. One of the reasons people hate politics is that truth is rarely a politician's objective. Election and power are. Take care and good night.
Thank you.